Do you miss the days when monster movies were filled with cool creatures and practical effects? Well, you're gonna love today's movie. Welcome to Sick Flicks, where I take a deep dive into the cinematic sewer to help you embrace your inner gore geek. I'm Mike Bracken, aka The Horror Geek, and today we're tackling John Knotz's cult classic monster movie, Jack Brooks' Monster Slayer. Released in 2007, Jack Brooks' Monster Slayer is a love letter to a bygone era, a time when monster movies made their creatures out of prosthetics and latex and relied on practical effects instead of CGI. With some fantastic creature designs, a really fun script, and Robert Englund himself co-starring, this has become one of my favorite splatter comedies of the 2000s. But enough about that. Can Jack Brooks slay enough monsters to fill 5 barf bags with body parts? Let's get to the gore and find out. Oh, and before we get started, today's video is sponsored by patrons Snyderman, sure hope that P is silent, Dennis Ioera, man I'm gonna mangle all the names today, and Terry Clements. Phew, finished strong. If you'd like to help sponsor some videos and free me from the shackles of YouTube's arbitrary community guidelines nonsense, you'll find a link to my Patreon in the pinned comment and description below. Your support helps make this show possible. And now, let's get bloody. We fade in on some natives in the jungle. Wait, is this another Italian cannibal movie? Guess not, because that's one giant rubber monster. I like where this is headed. I mean, it could be another one of those Predator movies. Jesus, look at this thing. Just a dude in a giant rubber monster suit. It really doesn't get any better than this. Back at camp, everyone's freaking out. This is one time where you really could say that the natives are restless. Fun fact, they shot all of this in Canada, so they had to import palm trees to make it look authentic. Inside one of the huts, we get a live look at me wrapping my wrists for a heavy bench. Tighter. And straight to the title. We then jump over to this less exciting movie. Hey, go back, I was invested in the native story. This is young Jack Brooks. You may remember him from the title card. He's got some anger management issues. Man, I haven't seen chair shots that brutal since Jericho rung Benoit's bell at Royal Rumble 2001. Then we get another flashback. This one even further back. Jack's sister must have been a big ABBA fan. And also a delicious snack, apparently. Whatever that was, it swept her right off her feet like it was Fred Astaire. Then it goes after Mom, and gives Dad a taste of its pimpin'. Dad's not gonna stand idly by, though, so he grabs his 2x4 and does his best Hacksaw Jim Duggan impression. And Dad clearly believes in equality because he's doling out some pimp fists of his own. Baby Jack makes a break for it and runs so far and so fast he winds up in the present.
I was never the same after that.
Present day Jack is basically hanging with his therapist. It's clearly not helping with his anger management issues.
He's yelling at me in Chinese. I don't even fucking speak Chinese.
Not gonna lie, this is basically me in every therapy session I've ever had for my uncontrolled rage issues.
Man, I don't know why you're telling me to do these bullshit exercises, because they don't fucking work. I end up busting the fuck out of my toaster.
And I'm guessing this is exactly how all of my therapists react after spending an hour with me. With therapy a failure, Jack heads off to get some class. At school. Hey, it's Professor Robert Englund. Guessing this is one class you definitely don't want to sleep through. Oh shit, there's a test today? But I guess having Amazon Basics Britney Spears sitting next to you is good. Unless you need to cop her answers. Those two aren't the only thing with chemistry here though. Just look at this chalkboard. Then Robert's gonna do some dissection. Too bad he left his bladed glove at home. Class ends and Budget Brittany is not too happy with Jack. I'm not sure what their relationship status is, but so far this looks pretty toxic. Then it gets even worse because Robert Englund is asking him to stay after class. Mr. Brooks, you have to stop cutting my class. The good news is he's gonna offer him some extra credit. The bad news is it involves fixing his toilet.
I've been having this problem with my pipes. I was wondering if perhaps you could stop by my place and take a look.
He heads out, so it means it's definitely time for a house establishing shot. Also, how does England afford this place on a teacher's salary? He heads inside, and this looks more like a kill room than a plumbing job. There's already duct tape on the table. Then it's time for some exposition.
Something about some crazy guy that lived here way back in the day.
Christ, does he live in the house where the first Saw movie was set? I mean, he's got Carrie Elwes chained up down here somewhere. Turns out, Jack just needs to unclog Robert Englund's pipe.
Hell yeah.
No, not like that, you pervs. His water pipe. God, now he's ramming his snake in the hole.
Hell yeah.
No, his drain snake. I'd tell you to get your minds out of the sewer, but Jack is a plumber after all. They then try the sink, and yeah, guessing Jack's not getting a good Yelp review for this. I will say, I sure hope he doesn't crack under the pressure. Probably should let off some steam. Oh yeah, I feel completely validated by this turn of events. Anyway, England wants to pay for the plumbing, but Jack's like, maybe you can just pay me by giving me an A in Chem 1. With that deal settled, Jack's about to head home, but his truck won't start. Stop, man, you're gonna flood it. Inside, Robert Englund is dozing off. Do you think he has dreams about Freddy too? And don't look now, but I think someone just reopened the gate in the backyard. I really should cover the gate someday. And it looks like Claudio Fragasso might be buried here. Inside, England realizes he's late for football practice. I don't want to alarm anyone, but someone forgot to turn off the blue filter mid-afternoon effect here. England, meanwhile, is banging into this door like a moth near a light bulb. I hope he gets a handle on this soon. The next day, Jack is at therapy again.
I broke a bottle over my head once because I couldn't open it.
I totally relate to this dude. And back at England's house, he wakes up in the yard. Yeah, I can relate to this too. And holy hell, someone was digging for treasure in his backyard. This mystery can't be left unsolved, so he grabs a shovel so he can get to the bottom of things. How meta would it be if he were digging up Freddy's bones from Elm Street 3? Turns out he's just got a busted pipe. Great, probably got roots in there. It's gonna cost a fortune to replace it all. But that's not all that's down there. I'd ask what was in the box, but it looks too big to be a dick or Gwyneth Paltrow's head. Man, I feel like we might have just wandered into a creep show segment. At any rate, I hope there's something really great in there. Spoiler alert, turns out it's just a box of dirt. And it looks like he's got some boning up to do. Oh shit, he found the telltale heart too. If you guessed he was gonna wind up eating that heart, give yourself a screenwriter's credit. While he's digesting his snack, Jack stopped by the store for some exposition. Seems Robert Englund's house is bad news.
That place is cursed.
Ah, he's basically this movie's Crazy Ralph. It has a death curse. Back at the house, Robert's awake. This is a lot like me eating on a cut. Later that night in class, the flirty girl makes her move. You could say this was pretty calculated. If she asks him to come over and clean her pipes later, this review is over. Oh hey, Professor Robert Englund looks great. After class, this dude tries to offer Jack some relationship counseling.
You are not okay. It's making her not okay.
Look at this guy. You just know this dude's name is Braylon or Thaxton.
She's not going anywhere until you calm down.
Oh yeah, this dude is just cruising for a bruising.
Big guy, you just need to smoke some hashish.
And there it is, a little pimp fist. Eat that, Dr. Phil. Back in class, it looks like Robert Englund's IBS is acting up. Get that man some Imodium. Oh god, he's growing a second Johnson. 2 hands, too. You go, Robert Englund. Oh no, not a home circumcision. He seems a little old for this, but I guess there's no official cutoff date for this sort of thing. Oh yeah, this is definitely me on a cut. Who brought this broccoli? Where's the goddamn cheesecake? At therapy the next day, Jack talks about moving to Brazil.
Why Brazil?
Well, mostly because all the women there look like they could be in a Sir Mix-a-Lot video. Over at the hardware store, Howard's late for football practice. And it's deja vu all over again because Howard's telling us the same stuff he told us last time.
You don't want to go messing around up there.
After a lot more jibber-jabber, it's time for a flashback. Aw, look, it's little Howard with the heart. How cute.
The heart was kept as a trophy.
Oh, good. Exposition and flashback. I don't know. I like this movie a lot, but I would totally be okay if we actually got to some monster slaying at some point. Anyway, Howard eventually walks in on this. I've heard it's a dog-eat-dog world, but this seems ridiculous. Then he bites Howard. I guess he wanted the veal, or maybe some finger food. Howard flees, then gives his uncle the old Yeller treatment. Back in the present, Howard makes a startling revelation. He's actually Captain Hook. Look at Jack. He's like, yeah, cool story, Boomer. I'm just gonna head on out now. From there, he heads over to school, where Canadian Tire Marsha Brady is reading him the Riot Act.
You know what you are? You're high maintenance.
This is technically accurate. He's a plumber, so he's definitely part of the maintenance team, and I bet my house Jack has been high more than once. In the classroom, Robert Englund's sleeping one off. I think we've all been here too. And Thaxton here still hasn't recovered from his throat punch.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of karaoke last night. Fucking huge party.
You could just call him a Shetland pony, because he's a little horse. Englund is awake, and honestly, dude probably should have just taken a sick day. But at least he's self-aware enough to get the lead out. But it sounds like he might have had too many bean burritos down at Taco Bell last night. I've heard those noises. Nothing good comes from that kind of rumbling. Young Flo from the Progressive commercials checks on him, but she gets the mother of all pimp hands for her effort. Then England starts to transform like he's a Resident Evil boss. I'm no doctor, but he should probably get his face goiter checked out stat. Man, I haven't seen this many creepy tentacles since Bible Black. Meanwhile, the kids are running through the halls like this is an Alice Cooper video. Thaxton almost makes it to freedom, but he chokes at the last second. Oh, how the worms have turned. Oh yeah, there's definitely some anime tentacle stuff about to go down. And Robert Englund looks like something straight out of one of Atlus's Persona games. I gotta say, the practical effects here are really great. We need more of this in the world. England's first order of business is to ram his ovipositor down Thaxton's throat and lay eggs in his chest. Oh yeah, this is looking excellent. Jack, his girlfriend, and Flo are locked into another part of the building. Back at the chem lab, Thaxton is looking great. Seriously, these practical effects are on point. Unfortunately, these ladies are still all tied up. And judging by this leg wound, Flo's gonna need more than Progressive's car insurance. But before she can file a claim, Thaxton pops in and drags her away. Progressive has life insurance plans too. Meanwhile, Jack's girlfriend is hiding in the closet, because no one ever thinks to look there. Oh, wait. But before he can attack, Jack's got a stool sample for him. That's a little plumber humor. They flee, but the door out is chained shut. And the janitor is busy trying to fit his key in the lock.
Hell yeah.
No, he's really trying to get the key into the lock. And what does he get for his efforts? Eaten alive. Sure hope they have workman's comp. They make it to the truck, but of course it won't start. Come on, man, didn't I already tell you were gonna flood it? But eventually it does start, and they peel out. Fantastic. And his girlfriend is a delight as always.
Are you mentally deranged? Why the hell are you on the bar?
He could probably just feed her to the monsters and no one would suspect anything. Just saying. Jack's too busy to pay attention though because he's having a PTSD flashback to his childhood. Hey Jack, what's your favorite Jordan Peele movie?
Get out!
Ah, solid pick. Jack ditches her and now he's prepping for the final showdown. I hope there's a battle plunger in here. Oh yeah, this is the look of a dude who's about to kick ass and clear clogs. Well yeah, here's your problem. Clearly you've got a leak. I will say, I've heard school lunches are pretty bad, but it's probably still better than eating the janitor. Thaxton makes his move, but Jack's all like, pipe down, man. Bad news for him though, because now this is a handicap match. Look lady, get off my back. Time to lay some pipe. Then he nails Thaxton with the Shoryuken.
Shoryuken!
Back at the chem lab, Robert Englund isn't going to be outdone. He's gone all Scorpion for Mortal Kombat and wants this dude to get over here.
Get over here!
Man, I wonder if I can get a Killer Instinct joke in here for the trifecta. And just insert your own head joke here.
Monster combo!
Out and all, Thaxton isn't done yet. Dude's getting trashed. Can I help you? By God, Thaxton's setting him up for the choke slam. Man, my JR still sucks. Then Jack tries some boxing. I don't think this is the right kind of boxing, though. He eventually figures that out and then tries some real boxing with a few pimp fists. Then he finishes the job. Thanks for the memories. God, it's like the end of Irreversible right now. Turns out Jack's just like Jesse Ventura because he's got no time to bleed. He's headed for some more action. Oh God, he's basically giving Robert Englund a circumcision. You're cut off, pal. Wonder if he'll keep the tip. At any rate, Englund is not pleased and is tossing Jack like a salad. After some more pummeling, he tells this monster how adorable it is. I feel like Jack might have channeled his inner Mick Foley there. But Englund isn't done. He asks Jack if he'd like to hang around for a while. Before he can finish him off, Jack feeds him some reanimator reagent, and it's a good thing we're in a chem lab because this is definitely getting a reaction. And then he explodes. And man, I wish I could show you that, but PrudeTube. Go watch the movie. It's great. That's not the end, though. Say what you will about Robert Englund, but the dude has a lot of heart. But Jack then proceeds to break it with an axe. And down goes Robert Englund. Speaking of broken hearts, Jack's girlfriend is probably going to have one because he's found a new love connection. Give me some sugar, baby. And that's got to be the end, right? Well, not so fast. Remember that monster that killed Jack's family earlier in the movie? Yeah, it's payback time. And now, Jack's a professional monster slayer. Hey, freeze frame ending, and it's not even an Italian movie. So, what have we learned from Jack Brooks' Monster Slayer? Well, for starters, that it's entirely possible to make a great movie with nothing but practical effects in the 21st century. I love the creature design and special effects work here. Reminds me of the good old days when I was a kid. The real tragedy of this film is we never got a sequel. I'd have been all in on a franchise built around Jack's monster slaying adventures. That we never got more of that bums me out. But enough about that. Can Jack Brooks slay enough monsters to earn a coveted 5 barf bag rating? Let's go to the gore card! In terms of gross anatomy, Jack Brooks' Monster Slayer definitely delivers. I can't even catalog all this carnage. We're treated to Robert Englund turning into a monster, ovipositor ramming, copious puking, crushed heads, an exploding head, and too many other things to list. The FX work here is amazing. The monsters are awesome, the fluids flow fast and furious, and the whole thing is a good time. Because of that, I'm awarding Jack Brooks' Monster Slayer the coveted 5 barf bag rating. This is definitely a sick flick. Looking for more 21st century gore with practical effects? Then be sure to check out my review of The Void. You'll find a link here on the screen. I'll meet you over there. Until next time, I'm Mike Bracken, aka The Horror Geek, bringing you all the splatter that matters.